This video tells the life and times of Britain's most infamous prisoner, Charles Bronson. Charles Bronson is one of the most high-profile criminals in Britain. He has spent most of his adult life in high-security prisons and much of that time in solitary confinement due to his extreme violence. The 70-year-old is one of the UK's longest-serving prisoners, having first been sent to Walton Jail, officially known as HMP Liverpool, in 1974. Bronson is set to go before a parole board in a hearing which is expected to take place early this month. Here, the panel will decide if he is fit for release. So who is Charles Bronson, and what crimes has he committed? Charles Bronson was born Michael Gordon Peterson in Luton in 1952. His family moved to Ellesmere Port when he was a teenager, and throughout his early years, he had many brushes with the law. His first jail term came at the age of 22 and marked the beginning of his crimes behind bars. Bronson was first locked up for armed robbery in 1974, but during his time inside, he has taken hostages in 10 prison sieges, attacked at least 20 prison officers, and caused £500,000 worth of damage in rooftop protests. While serving time in Walton Prison, Bronson attacked a fellow prisoner with a glass jug and had an extra 9 months added to his sentence for unlawful wounding. His violent behaviour continued during 1975 to 1977. He was moved around prisons, spending the majority of time in isolation. This included an incident in 1976 while serving time in Wandsworth Prison, which saw him try to poison the prisoner in the next cell. After that, he was transferred to Parkhurst, which is where he befriended the Cray twins before being moved back to Wandsworth. In Wandsworth, his hatred for the prison system continued, and he attacked 2 prison officers, reportedly scarring one for life. After a suicide attempt, he was moved to Broad Green Hospital and sectioned under the Mental Health Act. While at Broad Green in 1982, Bronson performed a number of rooftop protests causing £250,000 worth of damage. His third roof protest was in 1984, which he followed with an 18-day-long hunger strike, after which he was transferred to Ashworth Hospital. Here, another 3 years were added to his sentence after he attacked a patient. In 1985, he was sent back to Walton Prison, but quickly broke the rules again, causing £100,000 worth of damage after another rooftop protest. Following a name change and a release from prison in 1988, he was back behind bars again after he robbed a jewellery shop. He was sentenced to 7 more years inside. Back inside, Bronson was back to his old tricks and was again transferred to several different prisons in a bid to control his behaviour. It is understood he was himself attacked in one of the prisons before his release in November 1992. After just 53 days of freedom, he returned to prison again for intent to commit robbery. In 1996, Bronson took 3 inmates hostage at Belmarsh Prison in London and insisted they call him, quote, General. He told negotiators he would eat one of his victims before demanding a helicopter to Cuba along with a cheese and pickle sandwich to end the standoff. In 1999, Bronson was finally given a life sentence after kidnapping prison art teacher Phil Danielson and holding him hostage for nearly 2 days after he criticised one of his paintings. Writing in his 2000 book Bronson, he said, quote, I'm a nice guy, but sometimes I lose all my senses and become nasty. That doesn't make me evil, just confused. In 2001, Bronson, who now goes by the name of Charles Salvador, married again, this time to Saida Riemann, who began writing to him after seeing his picture in the newspaper. They divorced 4 years later. He then proposed to Paula Williamson on Valentine's Day 2017. He married the former Coronation Street actress in the prison chapel in November of that year. Sadly, 2 years later, Paula was found dead at her home. Bronson is set to go before a parole board in a hearing which is expected to take place in early March.